If over 60 never eat these 9 vegetables, they can trigger a fatal stroke. What if I told you that the one vegetable doctors have urged you to eat for decades, the one you're probably adding to your salads and smoothies right now to protect your heart, could, for millions of seniors, be silently setting the stage for a catastrophic stroke? The shocking truth is, the same handful of spinach that can be a lifesaver for one person can become a ticking time bomb for their neighbor. How is this possible? The answer lies in a hidden chemical reaction that most doctors don't have time to explain. A reaction that could be happening inside your body right now. And the secret to diffusing it is not what you think. Knowing this secret is the difference between confidently enjoying your meals and unknowingly turning your healthy diet against you. It's the difference between maintaining your independence and becoming one of the statistics we're about to discuss. Because according to the CDC, someone in the United States has a stroke every 40 seconds, and for more than half of survivors over 65, it results in reduced mobility, stealing the freedom they've worked their whole lives to enjoy. Welcome, my friends. My mission is to give you the clear, science-backed information you need to take back control of your health journey. We're not about fear-mongering here. We're about empowerment through knowledge. And that starts with this critical reminder. This video's for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for medical advice from your doctor. The information we're about to share is especially important for those on prescription medications. So please, discuss any dietary changes with your healthcare provider who knows your personal health history. Over the next few minutes, we're going on a transformative journey. We'll count down the 9 vegetables that demand your attention. We'll expose the hidden dangers and how they're prepared. And most importantly, I'll give you simple, powerful solutions for each one. By the end of this video, you won't fear your food. You'll understand it. We begin our countdown at number 9 with a vegetable that is a powerhouse of nutrition, but holds a few secrets: the sweet potato. Now, let me be clear. For the vast majority of people, sweet potatoes are a fantastic choice, packed with potassium to help lower blood pressure. But we're talking about context, and for certain individuals, the context is critical. Sweet potatoes contain 2 specific compounds that are important to understand: oxalates and goitrogens. Let's start with oxalates. Think of them as tiny, naturally occurring crystals in plants. For most of us, our bodies process and eliminate them without any issue. But for individuals who are prone to a specific type of kidney stone, calcium oxalate stones, a diet consistently high in oxalate-rich foods like sweet potatoes, spinach, and beets could contribute to stone formation. While this isn't a direct cause of stroke, chronic kidney issues can certainly complicate overall cardiovascular health. The second compound is a goitrogen. Goitrogens are natural substances that, in very large quantities, can interfere with how your thyroid gland uses iodine, which is essential for producing thyroid hormones. For someone with a pre-existing thyroid condition, especially hypothyroidism, consuming massive amounts of raw goitrogenic foods could potentially make their condition worse. The key words here are massive amounts and raw. The solution is simple and reassuring. First, cooking dramatically reduces the goitrogenic compounds in vegetables, so enjoying your sweet potatoes baked, steamed, or boiled is perfectly fine and significantly mitigates this concern. Second, unless you have a specific history of oxalate kidney stones or a diagnosed thyroid disorder, the immense benefits of sweet potatoes far outweigh these minor conditional risks. This is a perfect example of our theme today. It's not about fear, it's about personalized knowledge. Thanks. Coming in at number 8 is a vegetable that represents one of the most serious, yet least known, food-drug interactions for seniors: fava beans. Let's talk about John, a 68-year-old man who was prescribed an older but highly effective antidepressant called a monoamine oxidase inhibitor, or MAOI, to manage his long-term depression. Feeling good, he decided to try a healthy Mediterranean-style diet, adding broad beans, also known as fava beans, to his meals. He thought he was making a heart-healthy choice, but one evening, after a meal rich in fava beans, he developed a splitting headache and his heart began to pound in his chest. He was experiencing a hypertensive crisis. Here's the science, made simple. Your body contains a natural compound called tyramine, which helps regulate blood pressure. MAOI medications work by blocking the enzyme that breaks down tyramine. If you're on an MAOI and you eat foods high in tyramine, the levels can build up in your body very quickly, causing a massive, rapid spike in blood pressure. This isn't just a little jump, it's a medical emergency. According to the Mayo Clinic, this severe increase in blood pressure can, in rare cases, lead to bleeding in the brain, a hemorrhagic stroke. And fava bean pods are listed as a food high in tyramine that must be avoided if you are on an MAOI like Parnate or Nardil. This is one of the rare cases on our list where the solution is not moderation or a change in preparation. The solution is strict avoidance. If you or a loved one is taking an MAOI antidepressant, it is absolutely critical to have a serious conversation with your doctor or pharmacist. You need a complete list of high tyramine foods to eliminate from your diet. Please also remember to like and subscribe. This is non-negotiable for your safety, and it's a piece of knowledge that could truly save a life. At number 7, we have a category of foods that many people consider a health food staple, especially for gut health: sauerkraut and pickled vegetables. This one is tricky because it follows directly from our last point about fava beans, but also introduces a new, more common danger. First, the tyramine connection. The process of fermentation can dramatically increase the levels of tyramine. So just like with fava beans, for that small group of people on MAOI medications, these foods pose a risk of hypertensive crisis and should be avoided. But for the vast majority of seniors, the much bigger and more universal danger in that jar of pickles or sauerkraut is a single 3-letter word: salt. To preserve these vegetables and give them their signature taste, they are soaked in a brine solution, which means they are saturated with sodium. Why is this so critical for stroke risk? The American Heart Association gives us a perfect analogy. Think of your blood vessels as a garden hose. Excess sodium in your bloodstream acts like a magnet for water, pulling extra fluid into that hose. This increases the total volume of blood inside your vessels, which in turn cranks up the pressure. Over time, this constant high pressure damages the delicate inner walls of your arteries, making them stiff and scarred, creating the perfect environment for a clot to form or a vessel to burst. A single dill pickle can contain over 300 milligrams of sodium. The American Heart Association's ideal daily limit for most adults is just 1,500 milligrams. So you can see how quickly a few pickles or a side of sauerkraut can eat up a huge chunk of your daily budget. The solution here is twofold. First, if you are on an MAOI, you must avoid these foods. For everyone else, it's about being a label detective. Look for low-sodium versions of your favorite pickled treats. And when you do indulge, be mindful of the portion size and account for that sodium spike in the rest of your day's meals. Many people believe that as long as it's a vegetable, it's healthy. You see a can of green beans on the shelf and think, "Great, I'm getting my veggies in." But the shocking truth is that the industrial canning process can turn a hero into a villain, and the secret is hiding in plain sight on the nutrition label. This brings us to number 6 on our list: standard canned vegetables like green beans, corn, and peas. Let's be honest, the convenience is undeniable. After a long day, you're tired, and opening a can feels like a simple, healthy choice. But if you are one of the millions of seniors managing high blood pressure, that seemingly innocent side dish could be pushing your health in the wrong direction, and you wouldn't even taste the danger. The culprit, once again, is sodium. Canners add large amounts of salt to their vegetables primarily as a preservative, to extend shelf life and, for some, to enhance flavor. A single half-cup serving of standard canned green beans can contain 300 to 500 milligrams of sodium or more. If you eat the whole can, which many people do, you could be consuming close to 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 2/3 of your ideal daily limit from that one item alone. Over weeks and months, this hidden sodium from processed foods is what keeps blood pressure stubbornly high for so many people, directly increasing their risk of stroke. But here's the good news. This is one of the easiest problems on our list to solve. Your first line of defense is in the grocery aisle. Actively look for cans that say no salt added. Nearly every major brand offers them now, and they're often right next to the regular version. Your second line of defense is in your kitchen. If you only have the standard salted version, don't worry. Simply pour the contents into a colander or strainer and rinse them under cool, running water for about 30 seconds. According to the American Heart Association, this simple act can wash away up to 40% of the added sodium. It's a small step that makes a huge difference, empowering you to take control of your sodium intake without sacrificing convenience. Does that feeling of doing the right thing, like eating your vegetables, but not getting the health results you want, sound familiar? Let me know with a quick yes in the comments below. You are not alone in this journey, and understanding these hidden contexts is the key to finally making progress. Now, let's move on to number 5, where we elevate this idea of processing from a simple issue of added salt to a much broader, more modern health concern. At number 5, we have pre-made vegetable soups and sauces. This category includes everything from canned tomato soup and jarred pasta sauce to bottled salad dressings. These products are marketed as easy ways to get your vegetables, but they're often prime examples of what scientists now call ultra-processed foods, or UPFs. UPFs are industrial formulations that go through multiple stages of processing and are often packed with salt, unhealthy fats, sugars, and a host of additives to make them hyper-palatable and shelf-stable. The danger here goes beyond just the sodium content. A major study published in the journal Neurology investigated the impact of these foods on brain health. The results were stunning. Researchers found that for every 10% increase in a person's daily intake of ultra-processed foods, the risk of having a stroke rose by 8%. Another massive meta-analysis presented to the European Society of Cardiology, which looked at data from over 325,000 people, found that those who ate the most UPFs were 24% more likely to experience cardiovascular events, including heart attacks and strokes. What's truly alarming is that researchers are finding this increased risk may be independent of the salt, sugar, or fat content alone. There may be something about the industrial processing itself that contributes to inflammation and damages our vascular system. The solution is to move from the can to the kitchen. Instead of buying pre-made tomato soup, try simmering your own with no salt-added canned tomatoes, a little garlic, and some herbs. Instead of a bottled dressing full of sodium and preservatives, whisk together some olive oil, lemon juice, and a touch of mustard. By taking back control of the ingredients, you not only slash your sodium intake, but you also eliminate the hidden dangers of ultra-processing, turning a potential risk into a powerful stroke-preventing meal. We now arrive at a critical turning point in our countdown. The next few items involve the single most important food-drug interaction for seniors. A paradox where the very foods we've been told are the healthiest can become hazardous. At number 4, We have broccoli and Brussels sprouts. Let's talk about Mary. A vibrant 72-year-old, she was put on the common blood thinner Warfarin, also known as Coumadin, after a bout with atrial fibrillation. Her doctor told her to eat a healthy diet to protect her heart. So Mary started steaming a big bowl of broccoli every night, proud of her choice. But when she went for her weekly blood tests, her numbers were all over the place. Her doctor was concerned, and Mary felt confused and scared. She was doing everything right, so why was her body betraying her? The answer lies in vitamin K. Here's the science, made simple. Think of warfarin as a traffic controller in your bloodstream, carefully slowing down your body's natural clotting ability to prevent dangerous clots from forming. But vitamin K, which is abundant in green vegetables like broccoli and Brussels sprouts, is like a green light, telling your body to produce more clotting factors and speed up the clotting process. When Mary suddenly flooded her system with a huge daily dose of vitamin K, it was like she was pressing the accelerator, while her medication was trying to press the brake, canceling out the effect of her medication and putting herself right back at risk. A single cup of cooked broccoli contains a hefty 220 micrograms of vitamin K. The danger comes from inconsistency. As medical experts state, suddenly eating more vitamin K can lower your INR, the measure of how long it takes your blood to clot, which increases your risk of forming a blood clot. The solution is not to avoid broccoli. The life-saving solution is consistency. You must work with your doctor to find a stable, consistent weekly amount of vitamin K-rich foods that you enjoy, so your warfarin dose can be perfectly calibrated to your diet. The goal is a stable, predictable, and enjoyable diet, not a fearful one. Building on this crucial concept, we come to number 3, spinach. Spinach is universally hailed as a superfood, packed with iron, calcium, and antioxidants. It's the go-to base for healthy salads and the secret ingredient in countless green smoothies. But for someone on warfarin, its superstar status comes with a serious warning label. Spinach is loaded with vitamin K. A single cup of raw spinach has about 145 micrograms of vitamin K. But cook that same cup of spinach down, and the concentration skyrockets to nearly 900 micrograms. This is why a person on warfarin might be fine one week, but then after eating a large portion of cooked spinach at a restaurant, their next blood test shows their INR has dropped into a dangerous range. It's this unpredictable fluctuation that poses the greatest risk. The story of spinach also highlights another compound we mentioned earlier, oxalates. Spinach is one of the foods highest in oxalates. Again, for most people, this is not a concern. But if you have a history of kidney stones, it's another layer of context to be aware of. The solution remains the same as with broccoli, but with even more emphasis on awareness. You must be conscious of the difference between raw and cooked portions. The key is to establish a baseline with your doctor. Figure out what a normal week of green vegetable intake looks like for you, stick to it, and immediately inform your doctor if you know you're going to make a big change. Communication and consistency are your two greatest allies. This brings us to the peak of the vitamin K mountain, number 2 on our list, kale and collard greens. If broccoli is a green light for clotting factors and spinach is a floodlight, then kale and collard greens are the stadium lights. These vegetables contain the highest concentrations of vitamin K. A single cup of cooked kale or collard greens can contain over 1,000 micrograms of vitamin K. For a person on warfarin, eating a large portion of cooked kale when it's not part of their regular diet can have a powerful and rapid effect on their blood chemistry, effectively neutralizing their medication for a period of time and leaving them vulnerable. This is the absolute pinnacle of the healthy food paradox. It is the perfect illustration of how something incredibly nutritious can become a significant risk factor purely because of its interaction with a medication. The story of Mary, who we talked about with broccoli, is magnified tenfold here. The confusion, the fear, the feeling of, I'm trying so hard to be healthy, why isn't it working? It all stems from this lack of information about context. The solution, and I cannot say this enough, is not to banish these wonderfully nutritious vegetables from your life. The solution is to work in partnership with your healthcare provider. Be honest about your diet. If you love kale, that's great. Let's build a consistent dietary plan and a warfarin dose that allows you to enjoy it safely. Knowledge of this interaction transforms you from a passive patient fearful of eating the wrong thing into an active, empowered manager of your own health. Mary and John's stories show how a simple piece of knowledge can be life-changing. It's about taking back control. If you believe in the power of this kind of information, take a moment to hit that like button. It's a small click for you, but it tells the algorithm that this is a message that needs to be seen, and it could truly help save someone in our community. And now, the #1 vegetable seniors should avoid for stroke prevention. After all this talk of chemical interactions and hidden compounds, the #1 spot goes to a vegetable that is, on its own, perfectly harmless. But when it's subjected to a specific, common preparation method, it becomes one of the most aggressive threats to our cardiovascular health. The #1 vegetable to be mindful of is the fried potato. I'm talking about French fries, home fries, and potato chips. We've all been there. It's been a long, stressful week, and you just want some comfort food. A burger and fries. It feels like a harmless treat. But for our arteries, this treat can be a direct assault. When a potato is submerged in hot oil, two primary villains are created: astronomical levels of sodium and deadly trans fats. We've already talked about how sodium drives up blood pressure. A large order of fast food fries can contain a third or even half of your entire day's ideal sodium limit. But the trans fats are even more insidious. They simultaneously raise your bad LDL cholesterol while actively lowering your good HDL cholesterol. This creates the absolute perfect recipe for atherosclerosis. Think of your arteries as clean pipes. Trans fats are like pouring sticky sludge into those pipes, causing them to narrow and harden over time until a blockage occurs. If that blockage happens in an artery leading to your brain, that is an ischemic stroke. Just imagine for a moment, 3 months from now, you've swapped out those weekly fries for a baked sweet potato topped with herbs. Imagine your doctor looking at your blood pressure and cholesterol numbers and saying, "Wow, whatever you're doing, keep doing it." Imagine the feeling of control, of knowing that every meal is building a stronger, more resilient you. That feeling is completely within your reach. The solution is not to fear the potato. It's to reclaim it. Bake it. Don't fry it. Cut potatoes into wedges, toss them with a little heart-healthy olive oil and some smoked paprika, and roast them in the oven until they're crispy and delicious. You get all the comfort and all the flavor without any of the artery-clogging baggage. So now we can finally answer that mystery from the beginning. How can a vegetable be both a lifesaver and a time bomb? The answer is that the vegetable itself is almost never the problem. The danger is created by what's already inside our bodies, the medications we take, or by what we do to that vegetable in the kitchen, the salt we add, the oil we fry it in. The power was never in avoiding the vegetable. The power is in understanding the context. And now, you have that power. Okay, let's turn all this knowledge into powerful, positive action. I want to give you 3 simple stroke prevention stacks you can add to your diet this week, built from the best science on what truly protects your heart and brain. First is the blood pressure power stack. Combine a baked sweet potato, a side of lightly sautéed spinach, remembering consistency if you're on warfarin, and a banana. Second, we have the artery clearing combo. Try a plate with a piece of baked salmon, a handful of walnuts, and a side of steamed broccoli drizzled with extra virgin olive oil. And third, the antioxidant shield. Aim for a bowl of mixed berries, a colorful salad with bell peppers, and other dark leafy greens. For decades, we've been told what to fear, but fear doesn't build health. Knowledge does. Today, you learned the secrets that turn confusion into confidence. You are now the expert on your own plate. You are in control. My challenge to you is this: pick one stack you will try for the next 7 days. Post your commitment in the comments below. For example, I'm committing to the blood pressure power stack. Let's see how many of us can take this step together. Your public commitment will inspire others and hold you accountable to your own health. Thank you for investing this time in yourself. Remember, we're on this journey to a stronger, more vibrant life together. Until next time, stay informed and stay empowered.